Telecommunications in Nigeria has come a long way. It is almost impossible to believe today that there used to be a time when a single SIM card sold for as high as 40,000 naira. The competitiveness and growth of this market has led to a boom that has not only seen mobile phone usage grow in Nigeria, but has also set us up to enjoy the numerous benefits that mobile connection and particularly the internet has to offer. Today, more than 108 million Nigerians make use of the internet, with a great number of them earning a honest living this way. And yes, contrary to popular stereotypes, there are lots of Nigerians making an honest living via the internet without having to resort to fraud. It is estimated that by 2026, no less than 60% of Nigerians will access the internet at least once a month. So yes, the statistics surrounding internet usage in Nigeria is quite promising. And so is its potential to provide a huge boost to the country's economy and improve people's lives for good. Yet, despite all of these favorable forecasts and statistics, internet in Nigeria remains poor, slow, and expensive. The main reason behind this may really surprise you. For a country that seems to pride itself on being the new tech center of Africa and maybe even someday the world, Nigeria really seems to be hell-bent on self-sabotaging itself and its citizens in more ways than one. Ask anyone who uses the internet constantly in the country and the complaints are usually similar. People spend more on internet data subscription every day than they do on food and clothing, with some even entirely sacrificing their lunch money just to get data. Despite their sacrifices though, the connections remain poor, erratic, and remarkably frustrating. It isn't hard to find the heartbreaking story about internet connection letdown that many Nigerians have faced and are still facing. There are people who have missed out on their dream international jobs because of terrible internet. Freelancers who already face the stigma of being Nigerians are forced to compete with more equipped sellers from other countries and have missed out on opportunities, gigs, and even deadlines because of crippling slow internet. The sorry state of internet connection in Nigeria is not limited to anecdotes online alone. There is enough data evidence, such as an analysis of over 557 million broadband speed tests in 221 countries. This research showed Liechtenstein to be the first in the world in terms of internet speed and connectivity. The country's download speed was clocked at 229.98 megabytes per second and was able to download a 5 gig movie in 2 minutes 58 seconds. Madagascar was number 1 in Africa and 77th in the world with an average download speed of 18 megabytes per second, which was able to download a 5 gig movie in 37 minutes 55 seconds. South Africa ranked 47th with an average download speed of 14 megabytes per second. Our beloved Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, with a vibrant youth population and a strong affinity for the internet, ranked 183rd globally, 28th in Africa, with a shocking average download speed of 3.34 megabytes per second. The same 5 gig movie that took 2 minutes to download in Liechtenstein, 37 minutes in Madagascar, and 48 minutes in South Africa took 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 16 seconds to download in Nigeria. OpenSignal, an international internet data solutions company, listed Nigeria at the bottom 10 of countries with 4G availability. So yes, internet connection in Nigeria is not good enough. To understand why this is so, however, one must have a general knowledge of how the internet works. Just the fundamentals. You see, the basis of how internet works is simple. All you're doing is sending and receiving data from one place to another. But to receive and transmit data from your device to a server, for example, you need a channel of contact, something to literally carry this data you're sending and receiving to and from anywhere in the world. This channel of contact can be achieved in a lot of different ways. You can choose to transmit data through fiber optic cable running through the oceans, traditional copper telephone wires that are already installed and capable of transmitting data, cable modems, and through cell towers or telecom masts that transmit data through signals without using a wire. Of all these methods of transferring data and connecting to the internet, using fiber optic cable is regarded as the fastest and most optimal way. Now, of course, not all of these methods are used by every country in the world. The most prominent method used in any country is usually dependent on how suitable it is based on a handful of factors such as population density, existing technology, and economic capabilities of that country. Of all the methods of connecting to the internet, mobile wireless connection is without a doubt the most common in Nigeria. As at 2017, there were 74,000 subscriptions in the country for fixed wired broadband connection, which is an underwhelming 0.03% of the population, and only good enough for 115th in the world. When it comes to mobile wireless connections, however, there are more than 144 million subscriptions in the country, a number that is good enough for 9th in the world. If you happen to use MTN, Airtel, Etisalat or Glo Mobile Data Networks, then you are one of the wireless broadband users. As we mentioned earlier, fixed wired broadbands offer more speed and reliability than any other form of connection. So why is Nigeria so remarkably lacking in this area? Is it the need for mobility that is enough to make such an overwhelming number of subscribers resort to lower quality wireless connections? Well, the answer is no. Yes, wireless connections are great and they serve their benefit, such as the aforementioned mobility along with time and cost efficiency. But ultimately, fiber connections remain superior in a lot of areas, so much so that they are absolutely key to the impending overall development of any economy. So yes, the Nigerian internet problem goes way beyond the need for mobility. In fact, it is the exact opposite, the lack of mobility. At just 0.03% of the population, it is safe to say that Nigerians' fixed broadband penetration is abysmal. Yet, this is a key must-have feature for any country that seeks better economic growth for its citizens through the internet and ICT development. Optimally improving a nation's fixed broadband capability usually involves laying expensive fiber optics cable in the ocean. These cables are then connected to carry data from one part of the world to another. The saddest part of Nigeria's internet problem, though, is that the terrible state of our broadband connection is not even as a result of lack of fiber cables or broadband capacity in the oceans. You see, Nigeria has more than enough broadband capacities coming from several submarine cables at the shores of the country. But all of this power is just wasting away at the shores without ever making it to actual people on land. Anyone who knows the story of Nigeria knows that the reality of the country has always been a case of wasted potential. This is why it is especially sad to see this trend continue and manifesting itself in yet another key area of our life. The state of fixed broadband transmission is so terrible that of all the abundance of broadband power in the oceans, less than 10% have been utilized. Now, it is not easy by any means to lay fiber optic cable in the waters from various countries all over the world and get them ready to be transmitted on land. Laying these cables alone costs remarkable investments and hundreds of millions of dollars. This is why it remains especially sad that so much work has been done yet continue to waste away. So why exactly do we have a huge amount of broadband wasting away without ever making it to the last mile in the hinterland where it will be actually put to use? Well, like every major deficiencies our beautiful country has, and there are a lot of them, it all comes down to poor fundamental structures and infrastructures. You see, the actual laying of fiber optic cable in the oceans and bringing them to shore is just one part of the process. Bringing all of this power to land is the second key part, and it requires the presence of a strong national backbone of last-mile infrastructures that facilitates easy transmission and utilization of the power generated by these cables. Without these infrastructures, it becomes an incredibly tedious, almost impossible task to harness all the power at sea. Sadly, the simple truth of the matter is that Nigeria just don't have these infrastructures in place. This is why many attempts by companies and individuals to deliver stronger and better internet to Nigeria have always proved futile and discouraging. So, due to these limiting infrastructures, internet providers are left to run their existing operations based only on their own self-generated power, which they keep using as a viable excuse for higher internet costs. This is also compounded by the fact that many of the already existing infrastructures, thanks to their limitedness, are being shared by service providers, and cases of physical damages to this infrastructure in the form of plain vandalism and theft are also quite common. A World Bank research shows that in developing countries, every 10% increase in the penetration of broadband services resulted in an increase in economic growth by 1.38%. Google and the International Finance Corporation recently estimated that Africa's internet economy has the potential to reach 5.2% of the continent's GDP by 2025, contributing nearly $180 billion to its economy. What countries need to tap into this potential include a rapidly expanding urban population, a growing tech talent pool, a vibrant startup ecosystem, and increased access to the internet. faster and better quality internet. Nigeria has all of this except the last key point. Upgrading to quality fiber optics and making this technology available to more and more Nigerians will significantly improve internet speed, which in turn will lead to cheaper internet, which in turn will lead to better and more advanced internet space, which in turn leads to more investments, which leads to more number of cables, which in turn leads to higher bandwidth capability, and so on and so forth in that benevolent cycle. But with the haphazard nature of project management in Nigeria, alongside a host of other hindering factors already in place, is there actually a hopeful outlook for the future of internet connectivity in the country? In our next video of this segment, we'll be taking a look at the steps government have to take to create the right environment through a framework that allows proper funding, creative capital, and support for this sector for a vast improvement in the country's internet. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you're never out of the loop.